Welcome to my views and news. Saturday's first video. First news story is about the withdrawal of Eritrean military from Tigray, which is Tigray regional government's main demand before the disarmament of Tigray fighters. In a previous video, we reported that some Eritrean army's mechanized units were seen withdrawing from Zilambasa at the front. Now we have a piece of information from you for you from another front, from where reportedly Eritrean military has been seen withdrawing from Tigray back into Eritrea. Secondly, an Ethiopian ambassador, who is ambassador to the UAE, very critical of TPLF, was interviewed by the BBC a few hours ago. And there he talked about the withdrawal of Eritrean military. When will it start? Who will monitor it? There is verification and monitoring mechanism, but he linked control of ENDF, control by ENDF of Tigray, and withdrawal of Eritrean military. Thirdly, viewers, last week, PM Abiy announced the formation of a top-level anti-corruption committee headed by Temesgen Terhone, Ethiopian intelligence agency chief. First action has been taken, it seems, and an officer has been arrested who is in charge of a land management department in Addis Ababa. Firstly, viewers, Eritrean military's withdrawal from Tigray is one of the main points of disagreement between the parties to conflict. Disarmament of Tigray fighters and withdrawal of Eritrean military have been linked now, though they were not linked in Pretoria agreement, but in Nairobi agreement they were made linked. So it will happen, both will happen concurrently at the same time. I think 2 to 3 days ago, I reported that some Eritrean army's mechanized units were seen withdrawing from Zilambasa at the front. We rechecked, yes, it happened. But we cannot say that all Eritrean military units have withdrawn from Adigrat Zilambasa front. No, just some mechanized units did withdraw from Zilambasa front towards Sinnafe. Now, another front from where reportedly Eritrean military has been seen returning to Eritrea from Tigray. The front is Shiraro Edi-Dairo front. Shiraro was the first main city of Tigray which came under EDF, ENDF control in this third round of fighting, which started on the 24th of August and ended at the start of this month. After Shiraro, then they managed to reach other places to the east and south, Edi-Dairo, Shire, and then Oxom, Adbo. Reportedly, some units of Eritrean military have withdrawn from Edi-Dairo, Shiraro front. Again, we cannot say that entire Eritrean military deployed to Shiraro, Edi-Dairo front has withdrawn from Tigray. No, but some units have been seen withdrawing. That is what we have learned from the ground. I think withdrawal is definitely gradual. It will be conducted in phases, because withdrawal and disarmament are linked. Disarmament has not started so far. At least we have not shared any, we have not seen any pictures with any confirmation that TPLF Tigray fighters are surrendering their heavy weapons, light arms. That is why withdrawal of Eritrean military, it will also be in phases. They'll withdraw some units from one front, but still they are in Shire. Eritrean military is still in Aksum. It is in Adwa. So it's not that major cities of that Eritrean military has withdrawn from major cities of Tigray. No. Only partial withdrawal from Zilambasa at the front and from Shiraro at the Daro front. And we must not forget that African Union's High Representative Olusegun Obasanjo is in Tigray to monitor the implementation of the peace deals signed in Pretoria and Nairobi, Kenya. Maybe that is why we're seeing some progress in terms of withdrawal of Eritrean military from Tigray. But again, I'm saying this is only partial withdrawal. Some units from some fronts are withdrawing, but it's not large-scale withdrawal of Eritrean military from main cities of Tigray. In Adwa, Aksum, Shira, still Eritrean military is deployed. Secondly, viewers, we have a new story about Ethiopian ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, Suleiman Dadefo, who is very critical of the Tigray People Liberation Front. And throughout this war, which started around 2 years ago, we have seen that he was very vocal, very critical, sometimes hateful towards TPLF. He was interviewed by the BBC a few hours ago, and there he spoke about the withdrawal of Eritrean military from Tigray. Firstly, he used the word rebels for Tigray fighters. By the way, the two agreements, Pretoria and Nairobi, don't use the word rebel. They use the word TPLF combatants. But Suleiman Dadefo is seen as one of the hawks in the government. He used the word rebels for Tigray fighters. Secondly, he said that the implementation of peace agreement on the part of Tigray was not speedy. And thirdly, third point, very interesting, he said that he was asked a question about the withdrawal of Eritrean military from Tigray. He said that Ethiopian National Defense Force will take control of all areas of Tigray. Then it will ensure that Ethiopian territorial integrity and sovereignty are respected. So he seemed to be saying that first of all, ENDF should take control of all of Tigray, and then ENDF will ensure that Eritrean military withdraw from Tigray. TPLF will never agree to this arrangement, which is being proposed by Suleiman Dadefo. But yes, some border military bases are going to be established by Ethiopian National Defense Force on Tigray-Eritrea border. It will happen. Ethiopian National Defense Force will enter Mekelle too, according to the agreement. But it's not that, first of all, entire Tigray will come under ENDF control and then Eritrean military will withdraw. No, this is against the agreement. Second agreement, which is Pretoria, not Pretoria, this Kenya-Nairobi agreement. In the second agreement, withdrawal of Eritrean military and disarmament are linked. There is no mention that withdrawal of military EDF will start after entire Tigray came under ENDF control. It seems to be a new proposal by Suleiman Dadefo. He is an ambassador, but he is not very responsible, I would say. His use of words is irresponsible. He sometimes uses hateful words, and now you see that he is interpreting the agreement in a way which is against the agreement. What is not mentioned in the agreement, he is sharing it with BBC. Suleiman Dadefo shared his own views, I think, with the BBC when he talked about the withdrawal of Eritrean military from. Take a listen to what he said.
Speedy implementation of the agreement between the government and the rebel group is not to please any other body, any other third party. It is in the interest of our peoples in Ethiopia.
There has been reporting that Tigray's leadership received an additional pledge that Eritrean forces would withdraw from Tigray, but that hasn't happened yet. What's preventing it from happening?
It is the responsibility of Ethiopian government to secure and protect the peoples in that region. No one can be concerned more than the government of Ethiopia about the safety and security of the peoples in Tigray. So this should be left to the Ethiopian government as per the agreement. The agreement says that the government is responsible once it takes over the region and the territories, the whole territories of the sovereign country, Ethiopia. So it is the responsibility of Ethiopian government, not any other third or fourth party.
So just to be crystal clear here, once the federal government has secured control of the area, it then becomes the government's responsibility to get rid of Eritrean forces. Is that right?
Any other actors. Any other actors.
Lastly, was last week, PM Abiy formed a top-level anti-corruption committee headed by Ethiopian intelligence agency chief Tamasgen Terhone. It seems that action has started. 12 people were arrested yesterday, including land management head of Lamekura, which is sub-city in Addis Ababa. So he is in charge of land management bureau of Lamekura, who was arrested yesterday in Addis Ababa. 11 others were arrested on land and housing corruption charges. Question is, will this committee only take action against lower level officials, or will this committee take action against top men in Ethiopia? Will there be any action against PP politicians, against ENDF generals, against judges if they are involved in corruption? I'm not saying they are involved, but there would be some black sheeps which are everywhere in governments. Will there be any action against top men in Ethiopia, or will this anti-corruption campaign will this campaign target only lower class government officials, middle level government officials, not top men? That remains to be seen. Thank you for watching.